All right, we're going to talk about the flow of personal finance. So this is just going to be a personal finance flow chart. So what usually happens first, right? We make an income. An income equals cash and liquidity. Now, what can we do with this cash and liquidity? No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's go here. So with this income, cash, and liquidity, we can do what? We can save and invest. Let's move this over. And protect what we have, right? So we save, invest, and protect. So within this save, invest, and protect, what do we get? We get insurance, and that can be life, auto, home, come on, health insurance, dental insurance, disability insurance, all kinds of insurances, okay? So what else? No, let's not do it there. I'm gonna do it here. I want to do it here. Come on. There we go. So we save, we invest, and we protect. And now what do we get to do? We can spend it, right? So we can spend it on basic needs, luxury items, vacations, what else? Cars, boats, jewelry, art, all of that kind of stuff. So this income that equals cash and liquidity, we can save, invest, and protect. That goes over here. Let's actually move that over here. Woo! There we go. We're going to move this over here. We're going to make this a little smaller so y'all can see it. Okay, so now this save, invest, and protect. So the reason that insurance is first is because you can't go down the road without insuring your car, right? You can't own a home or take out a mortgage without homeowner's insurance. So insurance protection is, let's actually change that to protection is the first layer. Now, when it comes to life insurance, there's hundreds of different types of life insurance, hundreds of different types. And most of the type that is sold is called term insurance. And term insurance pays you zero in terms of any kind of a return. Someone has to die in order for you to get anything out of a term insurance policy. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. So now we can save. How much did we save? 20 years ago, it was you've got to save 10% to get ahead. Now it's 20%. So now you've got to save 20% of your current income. And that's all in what I consider right now to be cash. So let's just say saving 20% income. So let's just say you make $100,000 a year. So that equals $20,000 in savings. Now, I'm a big proponent is that you actually need to save up to where you have at least a year's salary in the bank before doing anything, before doing any investing whatsoever, unless you get a match on your 401k. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. So 20,000 times 5 equals the $100,000. So we're going to save 20% for 5 years. So I'm 50 years old. And well, I'm rounding up. I'm really 49. I'll be 50 next year. In 5 years, if I save 20% of my income, I'll have 1 year's salary. Now, is that going to give me any kind of a gain on the next phase of my life, which is retirement? No, it is protection. It is protection only. So we're still in this kind of protection savings protection savings area, if you will. So now let's go to investments. Okay. So investments are what? 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Some of these are qualified, non-qualified. The difference between non-qualified and qualified depends on its tax efficiency. So non-qualified and qualified means qualified means that there are certain tax advantages and certain tax disadvantages. It really depends on what pew of the church that you're in, depending on how you would like to be taxed. Some of these things can be a tax deferral, which means you pay tax later on. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when Reagan was president, I was 8, 9, 10 years old. And we had the lowest tax brackets in my lifetime compared to his lifetime. In, I think it was 1950, Ronald Reagan was the first actor to get paid $1 million. And the highest income tax bracket at that time was 90%. Right now, we're kind of butting up against 40%. So that is more than half. That's almost, it's a little over 60% less than what he was getting taxed at the height of his career. So think about that in regards to someone's perspective on what it means to be taxed. Okay. Now we've got protection, we've got investments. I'm going to make this capitalized. Investments. And we've got savings over here, which has everything to do with our protection. And the reason that it's over here, I'm just going to go back a little bit, is because what if you lose your job? What if you get sick? Your disability insurance, your health insurance and your disability insurance are only going to cover you for so much. That's why you need to have at least 1 year's salary in the bank, in cash, in liquidity, sitting there the entire time. And it makes for so when something bad happens, you're protected because you have this, you kind of have this 1 year golden parachute to make sure that your family, that you are taken care of in the event that something horrible happens. And that's what we don't want. That's what we don't want to have happen. We don't want to make something that has either a health or a disability issue arise, and then you don't have the security of having liquidity in terms of a savings plan or a savings account that equals 1 year's salary, so you can get through whatever it is that you need to get through and then come out on the other side, obviously a little worse for wear, but you're not financially hit as hard as you probably would have been if you didn't have this, which is 1 year's salary in the bank. All right, so now let's go back to the investments. Do you see right here, we've got, the only thing that's really guaranteed is this savings, okay? So this first layer of income, cash, and liquidity, that's what these things, that's what this cash and liquidity, that's what these things are getting used for. The cash and liquidity is getting used to save, invest, and protect. Okay, so now let's go one more layer. And now let's talk about capitalization. So capitalization is the next phase or the next area that we want to concentrate on when it comes to income, cash, and liquidity. What are we going to do with these things right here? Okay, what are we going to, how are we going to recapture the money that was spent here? Okay, now again, we're not getting into really cash flow issues here. We're not getting into, you know, how to save money, what to spend it on, and where to put it. We're actually going to talk about the flow of the money through someone's personal finance life. So the capitalization phase is very simple. We can take what's called the two economic powers. These two economic powers are actuarial science, actuarial science, and investment. So these are the two powers, actuarial science power and investment power. So when we talk about the two economic powers, we have actuarial science, which equals the life insurance industry. And some people just say life, and some people just say insurance industry. And then we have investment industry. Most everyone that I have run into, make this a little smaller. Most everyone that I've run into, they're not using both powers, they're only using one. And the one has everything to do with risk with no guarantees. Okay. Actuarial science has no risk and all guarantees. You'll learn how to type. Most of the time, the kicker for people is they think that they have to choose one over the other. They don't believe that they can have both. And this isn't an either or philosophy. And the philosophy that I'm really getting at is how you can have the most amount of money flow through your personal financial life and get the most amount of retirement income and get the most amount of money out of your entire personal life, just not your retirement income. Most of the time, my clients are in this capitalization phase and they're only using this one power right here, the investment power. All risk, no guarantees, and they have very little liquidity. And the biggest thing is that they're taking most of their money and they're separating it from themselves. This right here, investments, or let's just call it investment powers, has little to no liquidity. So let's talk about liquidity for a minute. So this takes time and effort. This takes time and effort too, but there's usually a systematic way, usually there's a systematic way for you to put money inside of your 401k and your IRAs. It usually comes out of your paycheck. And it is, as soon as you make this money, it is separated from you. So most of your money is walled off. From your lifestyle. Okay. This is your lifestyle. Come on. It says. So basic needs and lifestyle. This is how we spend it. So you've got this kind of separation between these things, your savings, your investment, and your protection, and then the way that you spend it. Okay. So how do we get this money, and these things to all work together to give you not only the maximum lifestyle that you deserve, but also maximizing your rates of return, while also, we're going to go one more. Now getting into retirement or passive income years. Okay. So these are the phases. I'm going to make this because it bugs me, because that's my OCD. Income. Okay. So how do we get this? This. This. I'm going to rename that lifestyle. And then how do we get this? To all be maximized. And to know that no matter what happens, and I know that right now we're in this downturn in the market. We don't have very good leadership from this administration. We're waiting on 2024. We're waiting on the midterms in November. I know that right now it doesn't seem like there's very much hope, and people are running around cussing and swearing and not understanding what is happening. And I am here to tell you that there is a way, no matter what happens in the markets, in the baby formula shortage, that there is a way to where you can have all of these things and not have to worry about a thing. So this is kind of my little pitch, but what I'd really like for you to understand is that there's a better way. And the way is to use the 2 economic powers, okay? So if you're interested, there's a link at the bottom of this video that I would like for you to click on, and it'll go to my website. And here, I'll show you that real quick. You'll go to my website, you'll watch this video, you'll start here with this presentation. Here's a resource library. Here's a very good video on the 2 economic powers. Notice how there is not a step 2. The step 2 is after step number 1 that is in step number 1. So when you click on here, it'll take you here. Hello and welcome. And then you can, as soon as at the end of this, you'll click a link to schedule an appointment with me. And we'll just go over some things. We'll go over your entire financial world, and we'll figure out how to make sure that you get all of these things and you don't have to worry about anything, because that's my job. My job is to make sure that you get all of the things that you want, that you desire, with little to no worry. All right. Y'all have a great day.